was asked to depart as trainer. Dave Keane was asked to get rid of Pat O'Callaghan as trainer. And Dave Keane stood by his man, understandably. And the county board then basically, I think they had a lot to ask. I think they have a lot to answer for relating to getting rid of Dave Keane, because it was the start of maybe a number of different shaftings of managers up along through the years. Prior to Dave Keane, you had Eamon Cregan, who had a 5-year stint as manager. And then Dave Keane came in there for a year, Paddy Whelan for a year, Joe McKenna for a year, Richie Bennett's got 2 years, and now you've Justin McCarthy, who's another year again. And maybe if Donald Fitzgibbon, and he openly admits this, if he had remained as county board chairman, he would have stood by Dave Keane, and he would not have allowed the mob to get rid of Dave Keane, you know. And I suppose Limerick Hurling has probably been worse off for the departure of Dave Keane, because he could get teams over the line in tight games, and he proved that at under 21 level.
What do you make of the current crisis in Limerick Hurling?
Well, I'll go back to what Mike Fitzgerald says in the book. He was county treasurer and selector back in 2002, and he feels that when the players rebelled against Mossy Carroll when he was installed as manager temporarily instead of Eamon Cregan, the players rebelled and got Eamon Cregan back, and he feels that that was the advent of player power in Limerick, and that Limerick Hurling has suffered ever since because of that. And he's even talking to him during the week, he's very open on that, and he'd stand by that, no problem. He feels that player power came into Limerick at that time and has never really departed. Now, I suppose the current controversy, and indeed the controversy in Clare, their legacies from the Cork dispute last year. If the GAA had stood up to the Cork hurlers last year, and if they were prepared to go into the Munster Championship without Cork, with a Cork B team effectively, I don't think you'd have the player power problems now in Limerick and Clare that you do have. But the GAA weren't prepared to sacrifice gate receipts in the Munster Championship this year with a weakened Cork team, and now the GAA must put up with these sort of controversies. You know, the players ultimately do have the power from now on. We've
got a text in from Seamus Walter on 53106. He says, it's a great book by Henry Martin. Pity that the Limerick County Board would not acknowledge that it exists, but then again, that will probably make it sell better. They're not the only ones who've kind of refused to acknowledge it. I understand that the local radio station in Limerick haven't interviewed you.
No, and as you know, I'm a teacher. When I was off during Halloween, I made numerous attempts to contact the radio station and left numerous messages for different people, and unfortunately they didn't respond. And then another presenter on the Saturday morning programme agreed to take me on through a mutual contact, and it had been advertised during the week. This was sometime in early November. It had been advertised during the week that I would be on the following Saturday morning, and I was culled basically, and I wasn't put on, and I haven't been contacted by the station since, which is most disappointing. I think you're the 9th or the 10th radio station I've been interviewed by now, and it's a great pity, it's a great disappointment that Limerick 95 FM don't deem it worthy to have a book of that standard on its radio station, you know.
Well, I guess it is their choice, and for whatever reason,
Oisin, there are all sorts of freedom of speech sort of things there, you know. So
okay, well, you have been interviewed, as you say, by plenty of stations. Just before I let you go, has the book done more harm or good, do you think, in healing rifts?
Well, if you're to go by the last 2 or 3 weeks, I don't think it has healed too many rifts, you know. I suppose in time it will be recognised, look, this is the old Limerick, that's the way the old Limerick was. We now want a new Limerick, and we're going to have to move on from all that, and I think it will benefit in that regard. Now, the current crisis, the players have made it clear. They're meeting tonight now with county board officials and with club delegates down in Claughaun Clubhouse, and the players have made it clear that they won't play for Justin McCarthy again, and I expect them to reiterate that stance now tonight. And I would expect that there will be a full meeting of the county board next week at some stage, and club delegates will be asked to vote on Justin's future, you know.
Okay.
But it clearly, in the short term, it certainly hasn't healed any rifts.
Okay, Henry Martin, author of Unlimited Heartbreak, the inside story of Limerick Hurling. Thanks for joining us in studio. It's a very interesting book, certainly, folks. Try and get a read of it if you can.